Cole likes to boast. Ant Jordan likes to roast. Sir Charles keeps it crisp. Q's the butter to the toast. Now it's time to keep it real. Competition not close. One stop for debating. Reality shows and this kids be the most. I'll be damn. I'll be damn, I'll be damn. Podcast going ham. I'll be damn.
Yo, guys, welcome back to I'll Be Damn. I got a special guest on here tonight. My boy Jay Rhodes, my boy Corey, from the movie that just came out, some musical, correct?
Yeah.
The Wonderful Plight. It's a dope show. This whole staff went out to see it.
Appreciate y'all, by the way.
Movie.
Appreciate y'all for coming out. Everybody that
definitely. Also got my girl Nick Nicole. We missing two of our guys today, but we're gonna keep it rolling for them. You know what I'm saying? They got some things to do. It's Father's Day. Shout out to all my men for Father's Day. We appreciate y'all.
But socks and ties, you know.
Yeah, you know. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
I'm Jay Rhodes. I'm a music producer, creator, just overall creator, artist. Right. Now film director and author, etc. From Oak Cliff, Texas, Dallas, Texas. Okay. Man, I've been blessed to produce for like Dr. Dre, Lecrae, Rick Ross, Talib Kweli, Waka Flocka, Styles P, and a few others.
Just a few.
Just a few others. I've been blessed to do a lot of stuff in my production career. Still producing for some of your favorite artists, but I, have elevated into the role of film creator and director, right, alongside my brother from another, Corey Williams. Man, I think creating films, I say this often, it's my favorite thing to do now because it's like a talent dump. Mm-hmm. Like in a film, I can put all the talents that I have, right, instead of trying to break them up. All of those talents encompass any film that we make. Right. So it's just a real labor love and super creative, cool thing. And it's taking us places, man. For sure. It's really, it's taking us places.
It's taking off, man.
Yeah, man. So that's that. That's me in a nutshell. That's my boy.
Yeah, man. Corey Williams. I'm from Funky Town, Fort Worth, Texas.
Hey, funk.
Yeah, man. I'm a photographer.
Top 6 finest.
Stop 6. Yeah, shout out Stop 6. My whole family Stop 6 too.
Real?
Man. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Photographer / videographer and now filmmaker along with my boy. It's just a blessing to have this movie out, bro.
You know what I'm saying? It was amazing. We actually went and saw it yesterday. It's actually, I've seen it 3 times already.
That's what's up.
I can't dish out all these awards and stuff like Jay Rhodes. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, like
you know what I'm saying? Not yet.
You on your way though.
Yeah. And the thing about it, like I mean these Oscars and everything. I think I've been blessed to do a lot of dope stuff in my career, but my career elevated once. This is my homie from UNT. A lot of us went to UNT,
right?
But he was my dude up there, and then like.
This dude 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for a minute. But we hooked back up, I think, like in 2016. Yeah. And as dope as my career was then, like just us creating our own thing. Because even as a music producer, as dope as it is, it's still, even if you're producing for Drake or whoever, some of the greats, it's like you produce the beat and then you on their time. Right. Just to be totally honest, you waiting. And that's cool, don't get it twisted, Drake. I still want to work with you. I ain't saying nothing wrong with that. But it's just more like when we came together, it's like we really created our own lane, our own space, and there was a lot of creative freedom in that. So he's real modest. We both try to be modest. He's super modest, but yeah, Oscars and a lot of other stuff coming soon for me and the homie, man.
Yeah, that is amazing, bro, and it's dope to see somebody come out of Oak Cliff at that, doing something like that. So that's pretty cool in itself, man. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the movie,
man.
Well, okay. What inspired the movie? Start there.
All right. And it's a blessing because we've been on this big, like this press run, and I'm sounding like a broken record, but I mean, it's the truth every time, so I keep saying shit. But 2019 American Black Film Festival, it's a joint that I got called Make It Take It, and man, it's even deep stories even in that joint alone. But we got accepted into the prestigious American Black Film Festival, and so we were there. And it was just this, the joint was there, and I was like, we was at the awards, and just the mind being inspired. You're around Samuel Jackson, Anthony Anderson. I mean, everybody was there, and it's just like we had this sense of like, damn, we belong in this mud. So it was cool. We was, was getting all the cool parties.
Yeah, man, we was right there with everybody.
And it wasn't even a sense of we partying or whatever. It was just more the sense of something that you created. Having you around, Black Hollywood like that. Right. So that really was inspiring. And then we went to the awards, and I was just like, man, okay, if they accepted us into the awards for this film, for this visual, Make It Take It, I was like, what if we created an entire film based around
That was
a lot
a
of
song,
songs.
right?
Yeah, it was a song.
Yeah.
That was. And so I had a lot of songs like in that vein. You know, whether it's been like melanin, gentrification, just a lot of songs that I had.
And melanin, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
black people do sunburn.
She was on your neck about that after the movie. She was like, that wasn't right.
I mean,
Black people sunburn.
put it like in just I'm gonna take that for we do, but not as bad. You know what I'm saying? So, at least not me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but she ain't always.
You know what I'm saying? No, but yeah. So I know, but it was just more overarching things. But we do. But so like we wrote the script to connect like these joints, and it just came out immaculate. But 2019. I remember like we was in the awards and Corey was coming later and mind you it was just gonna be these dope parties and all that stuff after, so it was just a celebration of everything. So he came in there, mind you, my mind is going. I'm like, he sat down, I was like, bro, I got it. He like, what? I was like, man, we gonna make a musical, we gonna do this. And at that point, did you understand what I was saying?
I did not understand what the...
I saw it in your face.
I did not understand what we were talking about, bro. Like, because he was like, we're going to do a musical. It's kind of like the Christmas Carol meets like hip hop, this and that. And I was just like, oh, okay, bro.
He was just like, yeah.
You know? Like, yeah. Okay.
And I was like, this nigga don't know what I'm talking about. But
my bad, go
no,
ahead.
you Gucci.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was coming from. But that's how his mind worked, though. You know what I'm saying?
When you're working with a creative like that, there's so many ideas. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's saying it to someone to solidify it.
And at the time, it kind of, I ain't saying it went through one ear and out the other. No, I did a little bit.
Hey, look, but the thing about my dude is like that's how it is. Fire. But the thing about my dude, it's cool because that's just me. I'm thinking all the time.
Right.
And that's just not saying he ain't, but when it's time to work, that's usually when his mind clicks on. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is just having somebody knowing that your right hand man. It ain't even about. I knew he was dumbfounded. My thing is I just ran it by him because I know anything I say like he gonna be down for it. So it wasn't like. He didn't need to know the exact full extent of what the hell I was talking about then and there. But I just like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. And the main thing I need to hear was like, yeah, okay, cool. That means we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But like, you may not get it.
It was on your mind at the time. You had to get it out.
This is what we're gonna do. So we ended up, we came back from Miami. I think
That
June.
Yeah.
I think I kind of wrote it. Maybe I really sat down to write it. If I can get the timeline right, maybe October, November is when we wrote it. It came together in like a week.
And wrote it quick too.
Yeah. It was really like just man.
And we started filming by December.
And then we filmed it in 5 days.
So an idea in June to December, we completed the film.
Wrapped it up. That's crazy.
And the filming in 5 days.
Yeah.
How chaotic was that?
It was crazy.
It was chaotic as hell,
Did y'all
man.
sleep at night?
Not much.
Not really. And keep in mind, we had help. E. Kelly helped a little bit, but I primarily filmed the entire
He was in. I think your Tim came a couple
times.
But for the most part, it was just Corey holding it down.
And I remember you saying you was gonna use one camera.
One camera, bro.
So you had to go take all those different angles from one camera.
Yeah, one camera.
I think it was most of the scenes with him.
There was a couple of
scenes where we had dual, but most of it was him with one camera.
Now, is that what you wanted? Like, is that what you pictured? Or is that just how it came together?
I mean, if we have a huge budget, I mean, that'd be dope. But you got to work with what you got.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you had a small budget, so you just had to like, fuck it, I gotta make it happen.
Yeah, we just work with what we got.
And that's kind of what we used to doing, like, because a lot of times, when you go to these Hollywood budgets and they screaming millions, this, that, and the third. With us shooting Gorilla, our main thing even coming up was to get that same effect, but just in the way that we could do it. And we always would replicate that effect in our way and make it super dope. But a lot of times people don't know. It's just with anything to me with black people and black culture. I mean, for the most part, you know how to make the most out of whatever you give it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of just like what we've always done. And that movie was no different. Like, that's why people look, they be like, oh, they can't believe it. But that's just kind of, it's like we had a lot of practice before It's a Wonderful Plight, because a lot of our projects that we created, we did in that manner,
Nice. Could you give a kind of a small outline of what the movie's about without giving the movie away?
All right. It's a hip hop musical, by the way. So, but the funny thing is, I'm not even just a huge fan of musicals, which is crazy. So the way we did it, it's a musical in the sense of where like it's not gonna just put you all the way in musical thought like it's Disney or something, but it just I think it's very balanced or whatever. So it's a hip hop musical that deals with 400 years of systemic oppression, you know, with black people in this country, and it just really takes Scott. He's a white man through a journey, almost like, you know what I'm saying, Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future. It's kind of like woke, past, present, and future, kind of really showing. Because a lot of times we think about potential allies. Because some white people, they just really don't give a fuck. They like, I'm gonna be this way. But it's a few people that probably just don't understand, just to be totally honest. Yeah. So it's kind of like him just really showing and just giving them an awakening that he hasn't had before to become an ally and to understand the plight of the African American in this country. Right. And so it's cool, but it's done in a real cool, unique way that I think can actually, you know, entertain us, but also reach, you know what I'm saying, people of the other race, you know.
I think it really would definitely reach people of the race because you get to see a different perspective, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The movie showed two different sides, you know, you got that one white guy who, which is usually the normal, is the video game playing guy that kind of just don't know nothing about black culture. Right. You know, so he taking it as a joke, you know what I'm saying? And then the other person actually somewhat know a little, he think he knows.
They appreciate black culture.
Because they like rap music.
Right. Like rap music. So he thinking like, oh, I'm with the shits, you know what I'm saying? Until he found out he really wasn't with the shits,
there
you know?
There it is.
So I love the whole, like the way it was set up, you know, everything was dope about it, man.
Thank you, bro.
It's a dope movie. Yeah. The music in it was dope. It's crazy because I already heard the music before the movie ever came out. So once again, the soundtrack was already pre-done before the movie?
Yeah, that's the way it's crazy. The movie just came out. Amazon Prime Video, It's a Wonderful Plight. That's the shameless plug I'm gonna do a few times.
Yeah, but definitely make sure y'all watch that.
But even before, we're working on 2 already. And so I just think that the reason the movie is so unique and people feeling it the way it is, because I think the script is based off the music, so it comes from a real deal hip hop core, you know what I mean? So it has that raw feel to it. So I feel that when the music is created first, that drives the film, and that's why the film is like that. So yeah, the music, even on It's a Wonderful Plight too, before I write any script, I'm gonna make all the joints, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how our creativity flows on the
Make It Take It was the first one, right?
It was the first joint. Yeah. The first joint.
Now, typically in the industry, that's not how it's typically done, right?
No.
Typically it's storyline and add the music.
From my understanding, typically that's probably at least like 90% of that has done, or maybe all, but for the most part, that's how they do that.
Okay.
I mean, but writing though, if you write a song, that can be considered like script writing.
This is true too. Yeah. And it's so important the way we do it. I think it's definitely the main part of it. So like you said, it's pretty much like when we write the song, we write the script.
Oh, okay. I was thinking after I watched it, and I was getting out, and I think it was like a couple white people walking out. Have you seen any white people kind of be uncomfortable in that situation?
Man, I have not, bro.
Not with this film, man. It's so unique in the fact that the funny thing is when we made it, like a lot of people were, you know, coming to us like, hey, man, you know, you don't want to be, you know, non-inclusive, etc. And I just didn't. I really, you know what I'm saying, was like, I had to be politically correct on so many interviews, Channel 8, etc. So I'm gonna be cussing on this one. Right. But I just, I've been having to be. I've been just released it. I've been having to be so. But no, I just didn't give a fuck. I was just like, man, nah, we gonna shoot it our way. We gonna do it our way. And you know, they was like, hey, well, you know, we don't want it to, you know, deter people. But I was like, hey, it is what it is. Because initially, I was like, I mean, I'm just creating it. This is for us. Now, if anybody want to get down with it, that's cool. Because I feel like artists, they always, especially black artists in general, black people in general, you always talk to be so inclusive.
Right.
And if you're not, there's something wrong with that. That's enough of that. There's nothing wrong with us having something for us. But getting to the point, even in doing that, man, there's been, even yesterday, our producer, April, she gave me a text. She was like, hey, this is like the whitest person I know, to be totally honest. And they was like, hey, thank you for showing me, in essence, showing me the light. I really looked at stuff different, etc. And I think that's attributed to the way we did it is almost in the sense of like, we're giving you truth, but we're giving you something you want to. Right. And I say this, you know, ad nauseum, but it's like sneaking that medicine in a dog's food. You know, that's really, at the same time, you put in their gravy, etc. They getting what they need as well as what they want. And nobody, not saying that there won't be anybody, but nobody's really had anything. And we've had a big proof of concept.
I didn't think
nobody's had any beef, bro.
I didn't think it would, and the reason why I didn't think it would, I guess the analogy I use is like, they got to be black people in church. And what I mean, like, you know, you're in church and you feel like, damn, the pastor talking directly to me. when those parts come up, it's like white people's like, damn, I'm that guy, or I'm this guy. You know what I'm saying? So they said, let me watch even more. They're like, damn, I said this on Call of Duty while I was playing. You know? So it's it made them kind of be that the brother in church when the pastor already talking to him. You get out of church, you mad, then you done sinned all your life because you done, you know. And so it's kind of like.
Or you get the other side where it's I don't do that. That's not me.
Yeah.
You're not talking about me.
You could get that as well. You know, so I didn't see where it would be a problem with how you guys did it. How you did it, I thought was perfect because that is the norm. Like if you go put on a video game right now and you're playing, that is the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was pretty dope how y'all put that in there. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty cool. And the guy, all the actors did a great job.
Thank you, man.
And the fact that it was a hip hop musical, man, that made it lighthearted too.
Right, it did because I didn't expect no bullshit. When I started off, when I saw a white dude jogging, and I'm just like, okay, it's a black musical. I kept seeing white people, and I was like, hey, what the brothers coming in? And then like how you did, I was like, oh, that's perfect. You know, it put both of them in there at the same time. It actually you got to see a good visual. You know what I'm saying? It caught me a couple of times. I kind of veered off in my mind, like putting myself in a certain situation or like certain things that we talked about, and I talked to you about it earlier. Is the movie is our exact conversation that we had when we first met.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It was pretty similar. Like I think it was 2017. You came to the studio. You was cutting my hair, and you know this is my first time meeting you. And man, you know we just hit it off with a cool conversation, an in-depth conversation.
Y'all spoken into existence, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was a great conversation too. We
I was
talked
talking to my wife
stuff.
about that. I was like, that's crazy how like this was what we talked about. You know, about like the difference of how certain cultures they think they understand our culture because of what they see on TV compared to what really happens.
And I think that's the thing. The conversation is being had amongst black people, but not other races. Like we keep it amongst ourselves. Yeah. And if we continue to do that, change will never happen.
Right. And then when we were receptive to other people some people are just ignorant. And it's not to be rude. Some people are just ignorant to other cultures. I'm ignorant to other cultures. You know what I'm saying? So having someone be able to educate you on a level, because hip hop music is most popular music in the world. Yeah. So when you got every single genre going, you know what I'm saying? Every type of race, everybody's going to listen to it. Yeah. So when you got hip hop music, something that's inspiring, but it getting them to sit and watch it like a movie with hip hop, so it's like, okay, I relate to this, but I'm also seeing myself in this. Like, damn, this is me. I thought I was really down. Yeah. But I wasn't. Right. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking I was doing good, but I really wasn't. Right. Because I just saw that low hanging fruit right there.
Yeah,
you know
and that's why I can't wait to find not find, but I want to find like that white community that watches the movie and I can actually hear their reviews about it.
That'd be
like I haven't heard any like white person that's just like they watched it and like I got some feedback from them. You know what I'm saying? Right. It just hasn't happened yet, but I hope it'll come soon.
Yeah, and two things. Like I say, with April and I've gotten some feedback and it's been crazy. Like
the email you was
it's just been crazy. Like I say, it hasn't been as big as of course the feedback from black people, because that's honestly up to this point that's still the highest demographic that's been watching it, of course. But just across the board, people are really rocking with it, and even creatively, we had to have white people in it, and of course to tell a story and do that. But I think that was a big part of it, because you had to tell a story through them. I don't know, even have you seen The Time to Kill? Right. But even like you said, like when Samuel Jackson was like, to be totally honest, I can hire this dope black lawyer, but what I need you to be the face, because they'll listen to you. You know what I'm saying? They'll understand. They'll see themselves through that. So
can I ask you a question?
You can.
The Scott character, is he woke in real life?
That's a whole story. Nobody ever asked that question.
Good fucking question.
Shit. You want to take? Okay. Yeah. Let's say this. Let me say this.
Sounds like a no.
Well, April. First of all, shout out to our producer, April Patterson. And this is why the movie's super dope, because we done been through a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. But April, she found a lot of dope actors, and at first she cast this other guy for the role, and then he dropped off because, man, just for the film now to be in USA Today, Griot, and just growing from where it is, we saw it from the beginning, but it was people he just, you know what I'm saying? I think he read. It was so many people reading the script, and they was just like, I'm talking about top-notch actors wanting to be in it, but then they read the script, and they was like, oh no, because they just, I ain't trying to be funny. Like white people, in essence, when it's time to be uncomfortable, that's an uncomfortable role to be in. Right. To be, you know, like shining the privilege on yourself. So many people didn't want to do it. And then it came to Brian Shorkey, which is you know, the actor who did a wonderful job in the movie, and it seemed like the coast was clear because he was a, you know, he's a straight white dude. He wasn't trying to be nothing else, but he was like, hey man, I get it, I get the mission, I get the vision, and he rolled. And we was like, okay, we got an ally in the movie, and in real life, he was down. I'm talking about late night, everything was great, everything was cool, and so we growing with the movie. You know, COVID hit, but we still moving. It's Mark Duplass. Y'all can look him up even if you're not familiar. He's a top, you know, Hollywood director. Even he was feeling, he's a white dude. And so Brian was happy about that. Everything was great. Let me tell y'all the one thing, and it's just to be real. It's crazy. That's the first people that has asked this question. Because there's a lot of behind the scenes shit people don't even know. But like, we did some artwork. Like the current artwork is super dope now, and I think it fits the film. But my homie, he had an idea, which really wasn't even my idea, but I thought it was cool enough to do. He was like, hey, we may need to bring some shock value to the movie. To me, the movie was super dope, and as you see, it didn't need it, but I still, like, you know, entertained him. I respect his opinion. So he was like, hey, how about if we had, like, because it was symbolic in nature, like, it's a wonderful plight. The whole, one of the top tier messages is for white people, if you want to be an ally, you have to go through our pain. You know what I'm saying? Not only figuratively, but literally, but mainly, you know, to start figuratively. So he was like, hey, if they got to go through our pain, how about we have a white person's back? This was his thought. And it just spelled in slashes like whips. It's a wonderful plight. Mind you. And it was dope. We got the artwork. Shit was fire. Yeah, I don't think it fit the film.
That's tough.
But it was tough. That shit was tough. My boy got on it. That's tough. It was tough as fuck. It was tough. And so everybody was like, hey man, this shit is dope. It was tough. You know what I'm saying? Especially since he was down with it. We thought that everything was Gucci because you showed all these characteristics of being down, of understanding, of really wanting to be an ally. And if you see, see the movie, it's like ally training. Right. So, getting to the point, I had to say all that shit. All that shit had to be said to get to this point. So it's around COVID time.
It's about to go.
Nah, this shit real. So there you got that shit queued up. You was waiting at that motherfucker. You was waiting at that motherfucker. No. Okay, so we get to it's COVID hits. It's kind of slowing the film down, but we still moving. So we submitted to film festivals, etc. This is about last year, maybe February, March. All right. Yeah. So the artwork goes out. And so we thinking everything is just, cool, Gucci, we gonna go. And then all of a sudden he's quiet. And he hits up short story long. He just gets so offended and shocked. He was like, oh, okay, I get it. Y'all was just using me. And we just like, boy, what the fuck? Really? We like, what the fuck? And so let's get to, I don't even
say y'all just using me.
Yeah. But let's put it like this. This is because we can go, this is what really took place and what ended up taking place. It was like, shit went down. It was almost back and forth, even internally in the team. But what's funny was a learning lesson for everybody. You know what I'm saying? It was a learning lesson for us because I know we even felt hurt because he was like, man, it just feels like in the movie he overachieved, but in real life he failed ally training. Right. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, damn. And so it was just also a lesson for us just to know, like, damn, like sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to speak for every individual, white American, but it's more like the things that we really went through, the things that our ancestors really went through, we have to overachieve and overcome that. But sometimes people are so sensitive that they can't even figuratively take the stuff that we literally went through. And then it's always a way, no matter how close you can get to people until you become a real ally, where at the end of the day, they can always jump back to a place of comfort. Like, okay, I was cool with that. No, I'm gonna play my white card and say, the movie's gonna get crashed. So I'm gonna play that. We went through a lot of shit. Really? Everybody ended up patching this shit up, at least enough to move forward. And the funny thing, like, it's crazy because at that point, it still was growing, doing this thing. But if we would have did what even some people internally, a lot of stuff was like, hey, well, it's just shit. Almost so many people, black, white, yellow, green, orange, whatever, a part of making this film. But when sometimes, you know what I'm saying, if one, and this is on the overarching theme and level, but if one white person gets mad, then that means that we could just blow the whole shit up. But we didn't do it, and it's helping everybody's career because the way that this took off, you got to keep pushing with your your dreams, etc. And I shared it with you just because you my homie. That's some shit that we've been keeping under wraps like a mug. But we had some riffs and some tips and taps. That's why like our whole goal was to have Brian with us everywhere we went because we thought that we were going to develop that kind of relationship.
Right.
But it didn't. It was a lot of things that went down, but we persevered through all of that. You know.
Right.
Do you think it was people in his ear after the
Yup.
fact?
I believe so. Yeah,
100%.
yeah, I believe so.
10,000%.
Yeah.
10,000%. Because and that's another thing. It's like it's almost like the movie played out in real life because if you're gonna be out like I know he was good. I know he felt the hearts, etc.
Yeah.
But it was people that probably didn't, really understand. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't be that kind of actor.
And that's why I say people were in his
They can't
ear.
do this, and you can tell, and it's crazy because you just knew it, and it got real bad until the point to where I was just like, hey. We doing this, because we got our stuff together. We lawyered up and all this stuff. We had to take it to that kind of level. And my thing is, it's another thing as a director, moving in Hollywood, I had to take a stand for myself because if I would have allowed somebody to affect me and what I'm going to do this early in my career with the stakes, even though they high, they're not going to be as high as $1 million budgets, etc.
Right.
I had to take a creative and a stand as a man because even as a director, in general, when people work on your film, typically, especially, you know what I'm saying, but it's almost, I feel like as a black man, that I got challenged when if I was a white person, I wouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more like a director, they do whatever. And at the end of the day, the actors, once you agree to be in it, they can use your image how they want, they can do whatever. That's how you do it with the film. But it was something about It's a Wonderful Play and about something to me, about me at that point until I took that stand was like, oh no, I'm going to pull this card and I'm a, you know what I'm saying, you give somebody an inch and they can take a mile trying to, you know what I'm saying, kind of tarnish whatever creativity you're trying to do with that or whatever. But it's and we can go all day on that. And my thing is the reason that I'm even having a conversation with y'all is because it was so long where us, even as initial friends and then trying to be business, with the dude, it was like, we tried to have the conversation, but it gets to a point to where, we just had to go and do our thing because it wouldn't even, for lack of better words, we couldn't just come man to man and at least have the conversation because that could have been a teachable and a learning moment. So that happened. That's unfortunate, but the thing is we pushed on it. Everybody's benefiting from the movie.
And the crazy thing is nobody's seen the poster.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen it.
Yeah,
we had it up for maybe 6 hours.
Oh yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, and then we took it down. We
took it down over the village. We
Because I used to share shit as soon as you put it up. So I would definitely share that one.
Nah, it's
you know what I'm saying? That would have been put up real.
It was a learning lesson for everybody.
I thought it was gonna be done after that.
But
and then it just boom, it just blew up, man.
Man, that's probably the best question you asked since we had this.
Yeah, because that was a good ass question. Nobody has ever. Not to this day. I think the more people get into the film because mind you, the film just came out 6 days ago. Even though we've been working on it forever,
right?
Like that. That's why since the film dropped on Tuesday, that's the first time that question has been asked, and I'm sure it'll be asked again. But I don't know if I even care anymore. But it was a point where we wanted to use this with Brian as a teachable moment, conversation piece or whatever. But at this point, I really don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm actually glad you talked about it, bro. I was gonna let you take that, man, because I didn't know if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I probably should.
But it sounds like you was ready to get out of your chest, though.
I think if I didn't take, that's why y'all got the secret medicine. If I didn't take a few shots, that's what got me talking to the damn shots.
Oh, for real?
If I would have took them shots, I probably would have.
Hell no!
Let's go ahead. Go ahead and get those. Go ahead.
But nah, so I'm gonna blame on you, but
I asked a good question.
Come on.
But I asked a good one.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a good question.
yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Truth is true. But at the end of the day, he did a wonderful job as an actor, though. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out. He did.
Another thing that I like, one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I want you to kind of get the crowd participation with this, is the black as fuck.
Okay.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, just because of the how awkward of a moment it was. You know what I'm saying?
That was one of the funnest times.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah. So I would love if you go get the crowd involved in it. I ain't say nothing to them about it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me remember. Initially, that's some shit I made up on the spot. But it was initially Whoopi Goldberg's gums.
And then you hit Wesley Snipes.
But I was going to say Oprah Winfrey, but the reason I didn't because I figured that Wesley Snipes could take the joke better. Yeah. Because you know what I'm saying? By the time we get to Oprah, you may not get on. So I was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, should I say? Oh, and I like Whoopi, so I didn't want to talk about her. You know, her guns being black and shit. So I was like, so it was more. So I mean, there's some depth behind this dumbass song. But let me see. I forgot. Was it Wesley Snipes guns? Okay. When I say something, I want y'all to say. I'm gonna say something, and y'all gonna say black as fuck. So when I point to y'all, I want y'all to say black as fuck. All right, here we go. You can say it too. I swear to God.
I mean, that's what happened. That's what happened. I saw that. That's what happened. I was waiting on that. I'm like, that's the perfect part. She didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I got over there turning red, man. I was just gonna stare at you.
Hey, right, I was just gonna stare. I was gonna see it.
She wasn't ready. She wasn't ready.
She said black is fuzzy. Oh, no.
Nah, she said that's so.
She turned red on me. Oh, shit.
All right, so we're gonna get a clap, and I'm gonna say we're gonna get a clap. It's gonna go one. Come on, everybody clap. There we go. All right, okay. Let's see if y'all got it first. I'm gonna point to y'all. Y'all gonna say black as fuck. Okay, one, two. Black as fuck. There we go. 1, 2. Black as fuck. I fucked you in. Black as fuck. Here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go.
Black as fuck.
Clothes on the bum.
Black as fuck.
Wesley Snipes guns.
Black as fuck.
I said a nighttime daughter.
Black as fuck.
Wesley Snipes bath water.
Black as fuck.
Clothes on the bum.
Black as fuck.
Wesley Snipes guns.
Black as
I
fuck.
said a nighttime daughter.
Black as fuck.
Wesley Snipes bath water. Oh, black as
fuck.
You know, but I was gonna say like Oprah Winfrey bath water. I thought just some funny shit.
Right.
But anyway, like so yeah.
You literally came up with that right before I hit record.
Really? The funny part, she still didn't say the shit.
It's all good.
She was in her head going,
It's all good.
On to the next level.
That's that party on the song and that nigga come, you be like, can't say that.
It's all good though. Appreciate y'all.
Real quick, the audience, do you guys have any questions for these two up here? Or us at all? Anybody got any questions or where we can see the movie or anything like that?
Yeah, I still need to watch it.
Did you watch it?
Okay.
Amazon Prime.
Type in It's a Wonderful Plight, like Plight.
Which, how'd you come up with the name?
Okay, well, it was in the vein of Christmas Carol, which is in the vein of It's a Wonderful Life, and I was kind of like, what I'm saying, it's like a very raw hood version of those things. Right. So I was just like, okay, It's a Wonderful Life, and then right when I said light, I said, okay, what's the plight of the black man, African American, the woman. I was just like, okay, that's. And at that point, that's when I knew we had something. When the title came that quick, because I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna name it. So It's a Wonderful Life, and I said It's a Wonderful Plight. That shit rhymed. We just ran with it. So
That's what's up. You got a question?
Yeah, try to not give the movie away, but first question: do you think it's possible to get Black Wall Street back?
Woo. I think at some point, even if it's in the year 2200 or something, just hypothetically, it's gonna have to come back because, as you see, we keep making strides towards our equality and what we want, right? So it just depends on once we, get it, because people are always like, hey, black people, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but every time we do it, they kill somebody or they bomb us, etc. But I think we're gonna eventually get it. I don't know when. But I think if you see the consciousness, it's kind of raising up at the point to where I think that everybody, everybody's thinking about owning their own business.
Right.
People are getting to stocks. We kind of learning the game, etc. And so I think at some point we'll get there. I don't know when, man.
That's what I was gonna say, bro.
When.
I don't know when either. And my opinion on that is we can do another Black Wall Street, right? However, we have way too many things against us right now. And we have too many distractions too. You have social media, and then you have just a lot of different things against us. Because if you think about Black Wall Street, that happened in the 1920s, where all we had was each other.
That's true.
We couldn't get on TV and watch TV or listen to the radio or go on
A lot of
social media.
influence.
You know what I mean? So now we have to try 10 times harder in order to get that community involved and get that dollar circulating times 10, as opposed to how it does now.
And with that said, I know me and you have talked about it. And by the way, we're gonna be getting into that as well. I told you about it a long time ago about getting a group of community guys together that we're going to get to a venue, start having different people bring vendors of black businesses, and we're gonna network.
And what first thing we want to do is have black people just start enjoying one another.
Yeah.
So we're going to have the vendors behind the stages to where they're not out here, no one's looking at their merchandise yet. We're just going to enjoy each other. And we're going to start the conversation. And I think that's where it has to start, and we have to stop hating one another, fighting one another. Until we start doing this, and me and Khadijah said it's a one unit, we're not going to be able to do that. And so we have too much money now. See, we didn't have the money then, but now we have too many black leaders that have the money, and I have resources to them. So we want to get them and look to start buying a plaza. And if we buy a plaza, even if it's white businesses on there, it's still black owned. So, because why not? Chinatown get our money, right? You know, the Indian spots get our money, but the black dollar doesn't circulate, doesn't even stay 24 hours in our community. So if we can do that and start small, put a black shoe store in there, and then we get worry about it, get a bank, and get a hospital, a grocery store, things like that, to where we have somewhere that we can come and buy things that's for us, by us, things like that, and it's for everyone. You know, just like every other business, it'd be for everyone. But have something that we're owned, because we don't have that ownership. You know, we don't have you staying in your grandma's house when she dies, or we don't have that generational wealth that's been passed down. Like, I don't think nobody in here is living off their parents when they die. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't carry that on, because mom just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And she died, the kids are paying for the funeral because there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? You put $15,000 for the funeral, so we have to start small. And it'll get bigger, and I want to talk about that more. One of the podcasts we're going to bring up is going to be talking about that. And also, this is actually the whole premise of this podcast. A lot of people don't even know this. I told a lot of my people in the shop when I talked to. It's about getting us on here with different opinions, showing that we can still love one another at the end of the day. Yeah. We can have disagreements. We cannot, agree to everything. But at the end of the day, that goal is the same. And that's to go here, just get here as a people overall. But we need other cultures as well. It sounds real cliche, it sounds corny, but human race is more important than one race. And if we don't get the human race involved in it as well, everybody is going to help. Like, just black people is not going to help us get rich and help us get there. We need everybody. Yeah. So we have to do it for ourselves, I think, first.
This is true. We have to do it for ourselves first. And I know you seemed like you was going to chime in on something else before I...
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of plays into, how y'all saying like we need everybody in our lives, but not to give the movie. Well, I guess the situation that happened with the guy, with people being in the ear. How do you feel? It's hard for us to get allies because people are scared in the sense to help black people because they fear the consequence.
Well, I'll say this.
Prime example of how the movie ended. Without telling, but you know what I'm saying?
I'll say people are loyal to their own kind. White people are loyal to white people. Asians to Asians.
But black ain't to black.
Black is not to black.
That's speaking on that, and if you that's the thing. Like, we have a right to be loyal to our kind. We have a right to be loyal to us, like you say, as the human race. But the only time where it's frowned upon, where people stick together, is with us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that we need to not feel bad for and do. But the second thing, that was a good point. The second thing about Black Wall Street, where I think just at some point by the law of averages, like every 30 years is going to be a LeBron James type athlete, something like this. So it's going to happen, but it's just the fact when it happens, what we have to understand too, and not feel bad or sad for, is one of the main reasons that Black Wall Street is not here today, other than people being racist and evil. It's the fact that if you're going to have any country or any individual entity, you would not consider it so fully until you can protect it. You see what I'm saying? So let's just say hypothetically, if Black Wall Street had a competing army, you know what I'm saying, in the sense that it would have been able to protect itself. So we can do these things, but we have to find a balance in, the kumbaya mantras within each other, but just knowing that we are on a full level. When we do come together, we got to have something in place fully to protect ours. You know what I'm saying?
I think we have to stop also worrying about talking about racism so much, because we know racism there. What's the solution? We got to start talking about solutions. We ain't got to keep talking about racism. We know the racism there. We ain't got to keep trying to convince a racist dude that he's racist. Yeah. We know that. We need to start talking about how are we going to change this? What are we going to do to change this, instead of always falling for the low-hanging fruit, like, give me a Black Lives Matter street sign.
For sure.
Yeah,
they doing this
for sure.
That doesn't do anything.
Right, and I'm gonna tell you something else. We need to learn how to do stuff in silence too, man.
Yes,
that's real.
If they don't know your plan, they can't shoot it down.
For sure. I think that's probably the most important thing is doing things in silence, man. Because as soon as it gets out there, it kind of waters down. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Or the make it, take it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a prime example of that. But we, like you said, we have to move in silence, and that's kind of what I want to do with that. The whole gathering. It's most likely it'll probably be at a venue here in Louisville. I'll get more information on that before.
You keep talking about it.
Sure.
We just talk about it in silence.
I'm gonna give more information on that because I don't want to give out exactly what I'm doing because I'm actually going to be moving in silence with that. We're gonna talk about it, but each individual that knows it's not going to be public. I'm going to individually invite you to come to that, and then we're going to talk about those things there, and then we'll go out and try to implement, the plan. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to do first, but it's going to take every last one of us. They don't, you know what I'm saying? But if we change one mind, that one mind may change another mind, and may change another mind. It may be small, but eventually can get big. I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime. I think I'd be deceived before it happened. It'd be great if I'm here, God willing, but I don't think that'll happen in our lifetime because it just has so much, and then I think it's already cursed for us not to have those things that happen. But that's for another show. We're gonna have that for another show. But any more questions for the audience?
I got 2 questions. So I heard you talk about if the Black Wall Street had a backing army. So as far as philosophies, I know this is way before our time, but do you agree with the MLK philosophy? Do you agree with the Malcolm X philosophy? Or I guess the Black Panther and the Malcolm X was pretty much the same. But like as far as philosophy, what kind of like what do you agree with on that?
I'm much more on the Malcolm X vibe. I love them both, but I'm much more on it because it's just like I think, and I love Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? But I just think sometimes that Christian and that or whatever. I'm just saying I think they pacified us with the kumbaya mantras because they gave us the Bible, or we created the Bible in essence, and they gave it to us in a way that made us docile, right? You know what I'm saying? The way they taught it to us to be our oppressor. So a lot of times in those philosophies, it's like hidden to make you not do the same thing to them that they'll do to you. So it's not even the fact that you're out there being murderous or anything else, but you have to, the only thing that I think the way the system really is threatened by is loss of money or loss of life, right? So, I mean, just to be totally honest, like, the reason that, a lot of cops will kill with impunity is because they're going to do it, you know what I'm saying? Not saying all cops are crooked or whatever, but the ones that are, they can do it, they know that there won't be any blowback, and not only, even if they do get fired, they know that it won't be nobody on their ass, like, life for a life, right? But even if you, not that you have to just be murderous, but if you had that thought in people's head some kind of way, and I'm not even a person that knows how to implement that. I just know that if we got to the end result, in some ways things have changed, but it's not even, it's just a threat. Like, I can't do this to them because something is gonna blow back on me, you know what I'm saying, with my life, or even I can't do this to them because I know my money is gonna be killed, because we don't have that collective, that collectivity in like really, even though our buying power is probably the top, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times people do things, black people, and then they pacify us, you know what I'm saying, with symbolism, and they don't lose any money. So, I totally, as far as my belief, not saying I'm all the way one or the other, but the older I get, to me, Malcolm X is just bars, you know what I'm saying, straight up.
By any means necessary. And I think that quote right there says enough. Don't get me wrong. Like he said, I'm 100% with Martin, what he was trying to do. Because he was looking at it as like, let's do something subtle, let's do it as a non-violent, but as we see, like, we think non-violence seems good, but this country was built on violence. And even Martin, this whole country was built on it. He said at the end, he was like, why do I got my people running? Did I make them run into a burning house? So even at the end of his life, he felt like, man, this might have been a mistake, because I mean, this whole country was built off violence, built off lies, built off, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's funny when people say, oh, not being racist is like so un-American. No, it's exactly American. This is exactly what America was built off of. So, but at the end of the day, non-violent, murder, violent, murder. So at the end of the day, it makes you be like, which way do I go? Because at the end of the day, we're going to end up in the same place again, So it's hard for people to jump out and like, hey, I'm going to be that activist. I'm going to be that, because most of them end up dead. So it's like, you taking a risk, but it's scary to take that risk if you don't feel like your people will follow you. So you go out there and you take that risk for what? To have your name put on a T-shirt? You know what I'm saying? Just to let the balloons go in the sky and that be the end of it. Yeah. That's what happens over and over in our community.
Let me ask this. Are you in fear for your life at all with the work that you're doing?
I'm not. And it's I think it's something that God put in you, you know what I'm saying? Because I think God has been preparing me, honestly, because the bigger your platform gets, and right now it's about to take off, but the bigger, my platform has always been, the most successful I've been in my career has been when I'm behind the scenes as a producer. Not that I haven't had any artistry that's done dope, but that's what I've been blessed with, so people know me for my productions, and that's usually when the other artists are forward-facing. But, as I pray and as I get deep in my career, especially as this movie's blowing up, being all these national publications and it's doing what it's doing, I knew there was going to be a time that, the more you get out, the more, that it could be. But I just don't fear that, because I think you seriously are dead the minute that you're not living in your purpose and what you're supposed to do. Because you're going to die one way or the other. You've seen people that have been fearful for their lives die. You've seen people in their own house, like we read about Boca John, he's in his own house, playing video games and die. You don't know how you're going to go, but I'm going to go, giving them all I got. And I think, they going to get these bars, they going to get this real shit. Yeah. And it's like, they just going to get it. Yeah. And then the way, even if you do that, you're going to live forever. They're going to get the truth, they're going to get how I feel, they're going to get that, because either way, even if you're very peaceful and you just you cower there, you know what I'm saying? When I say they, the system that's in place, they can kill you that way too. So it's like, you are not safe at all. And the only time any of our future people are going to be safe if we, bringing that energy and speaking truth to power. So I don't, it's just, a God energy in me to where I know, but it's almost like, not that you welcome it, because you don't, but you just like, hey, you ready for whatever, you know what I'm saying, in that sense. And I still, and you pray every day, safety and health, and, God protects you, because you never know you just never know what this world, got for you. But the more you pray and you stay in your purpose, you're not fearful of anything,
Preach,
Preach. Amen.
I have a follow-up question to that too. Is this going to be what you do going forward? Like the racism, is that going to be your lane?
Yeah, it's going to be me, and I'm not trying to, of course I would do other things, you know what I'm saying, if I'm creatively compelled to do so, but it was a time where I didn't rap like I rap now. It was like one day I just got to a certain age, a certain point in my life, to where I just wasn't rapping about no stupid shit. It was weird. It's like I couldn't even do it. You know what I'm saying? Not even if you spitting bars, but you rapping about, stuff that's, I always thought that everything I rapped about was where I was at in my life. So it's more like, I really think a lot of my messaging is gonna be in cool ways, but it's gonna deal with race. It may deal with colorism, it may deal with this stuff, because I can do a lot of other stuff, but it's just the fact that that's where my heart is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that until we are collectively where we're supposed to be, it's so much room to talk about that. Because people be like, hey, that's all you talk about. Well, I say that's all I see. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care. So that's all I really got on. That's of course, we got other things, but some of the biggest stuff I got on my heart to do, because we got so many different stories. We got so many different issues. So there's so many different songs to write, so many different movies to write, so many different things to do, because we still got so many different areas that we need to knock out. So this is me, and it's not cliche. It's me because it's what our people need. You know what I mean?
Right. So, man, I really appreciate you guys coming out.
Man, I appreciate you having me.
It's been amazing, man. And then audience, you guys are seeing the genius in the making right now.
Man, give it up for the audience.
Y'all gonna look back on this a year from now and be like, damn, I was in the room with this dude. You know what I'm saying?
Vice versa.
And so that's dope, man. And we're actually gonna have a 4-part segment on racism here later on. So I would love to have you guys back on that.
For sure.
Talk about that. I want to make sure I was gonna do it earlier during Black History Month, but I wanted everybody to be educated as much as possible on this, because we can't have a black show, black with a platform, and we're not really up to date on what we need to be talking about.
So make sure you get your white audience to get that feedback.
For sure.
So we can.
Because I really want to know what they think about that, and that'll be pretty dope. Yeah. And thank you again, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you having me.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having us, man.
No doubt, man. It's a pleasure was all mine. Tell us where we can go watch it once again.
Again, Amazon Prime Video, man. Type in "It's a Wonderful Plight," and if you like it, man, it's already up to 5-star rating. People been commenting on it. So, like I say, if you like it, man, we just trying to show the world what it's about. So It's a Wonderful Plight. Plight. Amazon Prime Video, man. Rent it for $4.99 at this point. You buy it for $9.99. That's it.
We make sure we have to buy that, rent that, all that. Make sure it's going to be in the link below. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, make sure you guys go subscribe. We out. I'll be damned.